Welcome to This Week with Old Sarge. This week, talking about the private detective that ain't too doggone good about doing his job. So way back when I was out in the Hope Stations area, shout out to you guys out there in my troop car minding my own when the dispatcher calls me on the radio and asks me, what's my location? Pick up the mic and say, give him my location and ask him what you got. And they said, well, we got a fellow on the 911 line on the cell phone. He's driving on the interstate, heading into your area. Says he's a private detective and he's got a problem. I'm like, all right, do tell. So dispatcher says, well, he's supposed to be following this guy in a pickup. You know, that's his little private detecting job that day. So he'd been following this guy in a pickup around, and pickup decided to drive up onto the interstate and start heading west into your area. Well, yeah, go ahead. Said somehow he's following this pickup down the interstate, and said he's a little vague about how the next thing happened. I'm like, all right, I'm with you, go ahead. They said, well, he's following this pickup and then somehow he loses sight of it. I'm like, okay, that could happen. Reasonable. Still within reasonableness here. So we started, kind of looking in front of him, did he change lanes? Did he do this? Did he do that? And he can't see this guy. He's looking for him. Where's he at on the interstate here? And he said he's getting a little bothered by this, and he finally looks in the rearview mirror, and who's behind him? It's the fella he's supposed to be following in the pickup. Said he waved at him through the windshield. Hi there, Mr. Private Detective. How's it feel? Shoes on the other foot. I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of interesting, but what do you want me to do about it, dispatcher? They said, well, private detective fella, he's pretty excited right now on the 911 cell line, and he wants you to stop this guy in the pickup. Well, all right. Need probable cause for that. Is he doing something to him, or what? It's like, no, he's just following him. I'm like, gee whiz. All right, where are they at? So we're going to keep him on the line. He says he's passing this mile marker, and I'm like, all right, I'll go see if I can find him and see what's going on. So I go down, take the cut, go back the other way, make my way through traffic, looking for this pickup and following this little car in the right lane. So they still got the guy on the cell phone there, Mr. Private Detective, He's giving the updates of where he's at. And I'm closing in on him through the traffic area, making my way through. I don't have emergency lights on or nothing. I'm just looking for these two knuckleheads. So sure enough, a guy on the cell phone, he's like, oh, he sees a troop car. I'm like, relax, for crying out loud. It's not like they're shooting at each other or anything else. Just, everybody just calm down is what I'm thinking, So I see the pickup up there, and it's just driving along. There's no violations there. I pull up a little bit further, and I can see the car in front of the pickup, clearly now. And nothing's going on there. They're just driving. And doggone private detective still on the 911 cell phone there. He's like, you got to stop this pickup. He ain't giving me no reason to stop no doggone pickup. I don't stop people just because other people want me to stop them. It's not the way this works. Remember my doggone oath. I know I gotta have probable cause for everything I doggone do, and I ain't got none. So this guy, he's frantic on the cell phone with the dispatcher. And I'm like, all right, I'll end this. So they're driving in the center lane with a little gap in between them. I pull up in the middle lane there and put my right blinker on and pull right between them. Now I got the two kids that can't get along in class separated. Then I hit the emergency lights, pulling over Mr. so-called private investigator. pulling him over on the shoulder, and the pickup starts slowing down, but I give him the old, you keep going. He recognized, obviously, a troop car, it's a trooper. He accelerates very nicely, matches speed with traffic, and disappears on down the interstate. Let the dispatcher know I have stopped the so-called private investigator, and I will be out having a little chat with him. So I go up there, and old boy's got the passenger side front window down, and he's like, oh, thank God you showed up. I'm like, dude, you need to, I said, just calm down. Calm down. I said, now, what in the hell's going on here? He tells me the whole thing. He's driving down the interstate. He's watching the guy, he's a little up there in the distance, in the traffic. And somehow the guy did some kind of Houdini move, and he lost track of him. And next thing he knows, he looks in the rearview mirror, and the guy's behind him, waving at him through the windshield. Scaring me to death, he says. I'm like, did he do something? No, he just followed me. All right, well, at least that matches what you told the dispatcher. So I said, let me see your driver's license, your private investigator's identification, and your doggone registration for your car. And he's like, what? And I said, I got to write a doggone report on this. So I got to know who I'm talking to, and I'm going to put all this information in this report, because I ain't having somebody come back later and say I didn't do something right. The state police is real big at Monday morning quarterbacking. Woo! They good at it. World champions. So I get his documents, go back to troop car, run him all the way around. He's good to go. Everything's valid. Write all the information down for my report. Got a little notepad, write everything down, doggone it. If you don't write it down, it didn't happen. Go back up there and give him his stuff. Tell him you gonna get now. Go back to the station, write it all up on the report. So you ain't got to remember it that way. You wrote it down. Don't write it down. It didn't doggone happen. So I put it all in the doggone report. Whew. Got to get better doing his job and not freaking out when things go sideways. I'm going to have to work at that private detective a little bit better there, Hoss. So, shout out section this week. Shout out to all my B troopers out there doing the job the right way, first time, every time. Holding true to the oath. Not getting all sideways and forgetting anything when these temporary hire type politicians tell you to do things. You remember your doggone oath. Remember that you got to have probable cause, whatever you're doing. Do things right every time. Just like you were taught, everything will be good. So we appreciate what y'all doing out there, keeping us safe. So thank you. Thank you very much. Military, we appreciate what you're doing out there. Standing the post, holding the line, keeping us safe. Woo, she's a tough life, but we appreciate you. So, till next week, me and Christmas Pig. Bye now.